Max Verstappen is getting ready to leave Red Bull. At the same time, Horner has been let go after 20 years with the Bulls. And McLaren is in the middle of an internal war. And no, we're not exaggerating. All this is happening as we speak. While we wait for the next F1 race, contracts are shaking, alliances are breaking, and teams are moving their pieces in secret for 2026. And the worst or the best, depending how you see it, is that Max Verstappen is potentially leaving Red Bull. And Toto Wolff is just waiting for him. Is Max really gonna leave Red Bull? Welcome everyone to the preview and predictions of the Belgium Grand Prix 2025. Let's hear the headlines. Verstappen, one last ride. Is he heading to Mercedes? Horner is out of Red Bull. Now what? Who's in charge? McLaren is winning everything. But inside the team, there's trouble. What's the weekend schedule? I'll give you my race predictions in just a bit. I promise we'll talk about all this in this video. It's lights out. Let's go! My little F1 lovers, Silverstone left us with a lot of chaos, on track and off track. Yes, we know the FIA took away the victory from Piastri. On the other hand, Lewis Hamilton lost his streak of consecutive podiums in Silverstone. And to top it all off, Christian Horner was kicked off out of Red Bull. But Silverstone is history. Now let's cross the English Channel and head to the heart of the Belgian Ardennes, of course in Central Europe. And let me tell you something, we have arrived at the most unpredictable F1 track, Spa-Francorchamps. This is the track where in Sector 1 might be raining, and right next in sector number 2, you could have a bright sunshine. But let's get straight to the point. The Belgian Grand Prix is held at the track's official name, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. The location is in the Wallonia region, near the town of Stavelot, in Belgium of course. The track was officially opened in 1921, making it one of the oldest and most legendary tracks in the history of motorsports. Formula 1 showed up for the first time on June 18 of 1950 as a part of the very first World Championship calendar. With its technical layout, high-speed corners, and big elevation changes, this track remains as one of the most iconic circuits in the world. The track is about 4.3 miles long. Drivers compete for 44 laps for a total race distance of 181 miles. There are 19 corners, 9 to the right, 10 to the left. But now, check this out. The top speed on this track is 211 miles per hour. Drivers will be flying in here. The average speed in here is 150 miles per hour. Classic, pure Formula 1 style. There are 2 DRS zones for overtaking, and here overtaking is not just possible. The lap record belongs to Checo Perez, who set it in 2024 with a lap time of 1:44.701. The driver with the most wins here is the Kaiser, Michael Schumacher, with 6 victories. And listen to this. The team with the most wins is Ferrari. Can you guess how many? 14 wins. You heard that right. Pole position went to Max Verstappen back in 2024 with a lap time of 1:53.159. And the last podium, it featured Russell, Hamilton, and Piastri. So if you're wondering if Belgium brings action, the answer is absolutely yes. Now, let's talk about the question that no one asked, but everybody should. It might sound weird to you, but we need to ask, what is the track surface like? Yeah, you heard that right. The asphalt can decide whether you cross the finish line or if you don't make it there at all. The asphalt traction will be medium-high. There's low corners that need good traction, like the entry to the S-curves or the final chicane. The aerodynamic setup here should be medium-low. Teams will focus on a straight line speed, but without losing stability in the fast corners. The asphalt grip will be medium-high. That means that it can wear out the tires quickly during the long stints. Braking zones right here are medium-high. We don't have too many braking points, but the ones that exist are tough. The lateral forces will be extremely high. Corners like Eau Rouge or Balchimon put massive pressure on tires. Oh yes, the tire stress will be pretty high as well, for the same reason. The track evolution will be medium. Yeah, it will be improving with more laps, but weather conditions often ruins that progress. But now, pay attention to this little detail. This is something that I've never seen before. Pirelli is bringing a very unusual tire compound selection. C1, C3, and C4. You heard that right. They're skipping C2. You might be wondering why? Simply to make strategies a little bit more exciting. Since we're talking about tires, now let's look at the numbers back in 2024. We had 34 pit stops during the race. Most of the drivers went for a 2-stop strategy, starting on mediums, then switching to hards, and then finishing again on hards. But the number I really want to share with you is the next one. What am I talking about? 33 overtakes on track in 2024. That means that the show is guaranteed. And that takes us to the next point, chaos. How much chaos can we expect on this track? Well, in the last 6 races, the safety car has come out 5 times. That's 83% chance of safety car. So if a driver is leading the race and thinks everything is under control, chaos might show up with no warning. As you know, rain can always shake things up, and a safety car at the wrong time can ruin anyone's race just like that. Now, question for all of you. Did you know that at this track, you can get fog, rain, and sunshine in the same lap? Buckle up because I'm about to tell you the weather forecast for this weekend. On Friday, as you know, we'll only get 1 practice session because right after that, we will have the qualifying sprint. It's gonna be a cloudy and rainy day. A really tough day for engineers trying to set up the car. Many teams will have to improvise and take risks with the setup, just in case it rains or doesn't. On Saturday, which is the sprint race and also the qualifying for the main race, the forecast at this point says clear skies and sunshine. That's perfect weather for racing. But tire wear could become a real issue. Teams who have better tire management will have the upper hand. But what about Sunday, the main race day? Expect cloudy skies with a 40% chance of rain. In other words, it's gonna be a total unpredictable day, a total strategic nightmare. Trying to figure it out who picks the right tire at the right time, that's gonna be crazy. In short, Friday is gonna be wet and tricky, and collected data will be pretty much useless. For Saturday is gonna be dry and things should go smoothly. And Sunday, nobody knows if rain will come or not. What would you prefer, a wet race or a dry race? Just let me know in the comments. Alright, my F1 lovers, by now we have already gone over the track data and the weather conditions, but now it comes the most important part, understanding each sector and each corner of this circuit, just because some of these corners hide some secrets. Let's break it down. As any other F1 track, it is divided into 3 sectors. Sector number 1, the fastest of the 3. As soon as the drivers leave the straight line, they hit the first corner right away. Last source. This is a tight harping that looks easy, but it has cost drivers world titles. Right after comes Rouge and Radillion, turns 2, 3, and 4. This is pretty much a blind uphill section where drivers can go around 200 miles per hour. You go full throttle with no room for error. Drivers have to take a breath before entering and pray after leaving this zone. There's no such a small mistake in here. One misstep and the crash is massive. Next up is the Camel Straight, where we get the first DRS zone, which by the way, this is the best overtaking chance. And just like that, Sector 1 is done. Sector number 2, the most technical part of the track. It starts right away with Lecomp's turns 5, 6, and 7. This is a fast uphill chicane. The entry into turn 5 is where most overtakes are completed. This is just right after the Camel Straight we just mentioned. Then comes turn number 8, Bruxelles. This is a downhill corner with a low grip. Many drivers end up in the grass. Right after that is one of the trickiest corners of the track, turn number 9. If you're too late on entry, you're out. And then it comes the beast, Pujon, turns 10 and 11, a double left-hander. This is where we see the highest lateral forces in the entire calendar of the Formula 1. If you don't have enough downforce in here, it's game over for you. Next is the Campus Stavelot section, turns 12, 13, and 14. This is a super technical zone where you either gain or lose the pole position. On qualifying day, this section is key. And just like that, we're in sector number 3, another fast sector, but way more dangerous than sector 1. It all starts with turn 15, a flat out corner with no room for hesitation. Right after comes the legendary Balchimont, turn 16. There is only one racing line in here, and every driver has to stick to it. Then it comes turn 17, which leads into the grand finale, the chicane, turns 18 and 19. This section is full of pressure. Positions have been won, lost, and even races abandoned here. This is your last chance to overtake or to throw everything away. Out of the chicane, the drivers enter the second and final DRS zone, heading back to the main straight to cross the finish line. As you can see, Belgium does not forgive. It's a mix of speed, precision, and pure guts. And when it rains, which almost always does, it becomes the most unpredictable race in the calendar. Who will take pole position? Let me know in the comments. Alright. At this point, we know the weather conditions, we know the key stats, we have gone through the track corner by corner, so we know all that. But now, it's time for the real deal, understanding how the top teams are arriving at the Spa-Francorchamps. I'm talking about Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, and of course, Red Bull. And after this, we'll be ready to make some predictions. Let's start with Ferrari. Hamilton, the secret upgrades, I changed everything and gave him the edge. While Red Bull is struggling, McLaren is fighting itself, and Max Verstappen is about to leave Mercedes, Ferrari is focused on getting the SF25 back on track. At Silverstone, Charles Leclerc had a weekend to forget. Bad tire strategy, off-track moments, and no pace. It was simply a disaster. However, on the other side of the garage, Lewis Hamilton seems to be getting stronger. In Silverstone, he had one of his best races with Ferrari so far this year. He finished P4, just shy of the podium. Let's don't forget that Ferrari tested a new floor in Austria, and now they're expected to bring a new rear suspension. But what is the goal with that? Give the SF24 more stability, especially in high-speed corners, and fix the rear end issues that were haunting Hamilton's confidence. And it looks like Hamilton is finally settling into the team. He showed some more confidence in Silverstone and seems more comfortable with the car. If these upgrades work in Belgium and he beats Leclerc again, the 7-time world champion might just start leading the team. But remember, this is not an easy track. Like I said earlier, here you need balance, strategy, and rhythm. But if the car responds well, we might see Ferrari back at the podium, or maybe a victory. The question is for you. Do you think Ferrari now has what it takes to win a race this season? Let me know in the comments. Now let's talk about Mercedes. Contracts, pressure, and a lineup question. Who's leaving? Russell or Antonelli? At Silverstone, Mercedes played with fire and got burned. They went for slick tires when the track was still wet, and when the rain came back, both Antonelli and Russell dropped down the order. Let's not forget that Kimi was hit by Hadjar, and just like that, the race was over. It is true that Russell saved a few points, but he was way off the podium. Once again, Mercedes had the pace, but failed in execution. And while all this happened, the real decisions were being made off track. Russell says he's not planning to leave Mercedes anytime soon. He even said his chances for him to leave Mercedes are very low. But in the other hand, Toto Wolff continues conversations with Max Verstappen. Of course, we know he's gonna say that's not true, but we know that everyone wants Max Verstappen. And if Max joins Mercedes, someone has to go, of course. Russell or Antonelli. For now, Mercedes is planning some suspension upgrades, with the end goal to improve stability and go faster through high-speed corners. Of course, the weekend's cold and rainy weather could play in their favor, just like we have seen before. The truth is that Russell and Antonelli will have to give it all, because this weekend is not just about racing for 44 laps, it's about fighting for contracts and the team's future. So what do you think? If Max Verstappen comes to Mercedes, who's out? Let me know in the comments. Now let's talk about McLaren. They won at Silverstone, but now the real battle begins in Belgium. At Silverstone, McLaren dominated the weekend, but of course there was drama. Oscar Piastri was leading the race with confidence, but all of a sudden the FIA gave him a 10-second penalty. A ridiculous one in my opinion. And Lando of course took advantage of it and he claimed the victory. Right at this moment, the points gap between these two drivers is just 8 points. By the way, the team tested a new floor at Silverstone, and Andrea Stella confirmed it worked perfectly. That could make the car even go faster than it already is, giving them a huge edge over the rest of the field. However, the key will be the internal harmony of the team. You got two young drivers who both want to be world champion, and behind them you got Max Verstappen, who you should never ever count out. You cannot let Verstappen hang around. Any tension between Piastri and Norris, the truth is that this track in Belgium suits perfectly to the McLaren vehicle. If the team can keep things cool, they could come to Belgium not just to fight for a win, but to crush everyone else with an easy 1-2 finish. Do you think McLaren is ready to pull off a 1-2, or will Oscar and Lando crash into each other? Just let me know in the comments below. Now let's talk about Red Bull. Verstappen looks like he's heading to Mercedes, or not? Red Bull arrives this weekend in the middle of a storm, and no, I don't mean the rain. I mean the political, technical, and emotional storm. On track, things went badly at Silverstone. Tsunoda was stuck at the back of the field with nothing to fight for. And Verstappen couldn't shine with the low downforce setup that he had. Why? Because the rain showed up. But that was just the one track story. The real drama happened off track. Ever since Christian Horner was removed, the team looks like it's losing its direction. And what seemed impossible a few months ago is now looking very real. Max is seriously thinking about leaving Red Bull. And yes, Mercedes sounds like his option number one. The same Max who won everything with Red Bull apparently wants out. At the very least, there are conversations. And here's the big question. If Max leaves, what's left of Red Bull? Who's going to save the team? Can Laurent Maquis really do it? Now, getting back to Belgium, this has been Red Bull territory in the last few years. But let's be honest, this team doesn't have the power that it has a few years back. Of course, we're expecting Max to keep it all on track. But if the car doesn't respond and the rain doesn't come, he could struggle with the tire degradation, which is the RB21 biggest weak spot. But if the rain shows up, Verstappen could have a chance between all this chaos. I got a serious question for you. Could this be the last time we see Max Verstappen wearing Red Bull colors here in Belgium? Let me know what you think in the comments. Alright, we have all the information we need. We know track details, we know team updates, weather condition, corner analysis, we know everything. So now it's time for race predictions. Pole position, Lando Norris. Why? Because he has been improving his lap time. He has been extremely fast in the last few qualifying sessions. But now, let's go with the top 5 for the race. P5, Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton is coming motivated. He just gave us one of his best performances of the year so far. And I believe with the experience he has, he can stay ahead of Leclerc. P4, George Russell. Let's don't forget that Russell just won the 2024 Belgium Grand Prix. Plus, Mercedes usually performs better under cold conditions. So if it rains, that could really help Russell. But now, let's talk about the podium. P3, Max Verstappen. Max loves this track, is one of his favorites, and one he has dominated in the last few years. But the RB21's degradation is still a serious issue. That's why I don't put him higher. The best shot that Max Verstappen might have is if it rains. Now, instead of P2, I'm gonna tell you P1 because you'll know who's P2. Or if I tell you P2, you'll know who's P1. Yes, I'm giving the victory to Oscar Piastri. This track should fit Piastri's driving style perfectly. And don't forget that Piastri had an amazing pace at Silverstone. He would have won easily that race. He's an aggressive and technical driver at the same time, and he has been fast under wet and dry conditions. Plus, he's gonna be looking for revenge for what happened at Silverstone. And of course, P2 is gonna be Lando Norris. He has an amazing car and he's not gonna make it easy for Piastri. These two will be fighting hard for the victory. So, here you have it. Those are my predictions. We still gotta watch the only practice session there is this weekend. And after Friday, after we analyze all the data, we can start adjusting the forecast based on the data. Now, what I really want to know, what's your podium predictions? I always read each and every one of your comments. Why? Because I really care what you think. As always, I leave you the weekend schedule on the last screen. This is your friend Orlando signing off, and I'll see you on the next time. Thank you.